In this discussion, we will discuss Japanese films again. But the difference is that we will discuss the gangster genre films. The film is titled Demekin. The story will revolve around two friends who used to be bullied, but now they can become kings of the streets. This film opens with two friends named Atsunari and Masaki, where they are friends from childhood. In the past, they were both bullied at school, but when they started they were in junior high school. They want to change their image. As a result, they also manage to become one of the strongest gangs in the school. One day a young man named Maki invites him to join his motorcycle gang. The group was named Akimasada. This made Masaki and Atsunari happy, because they have long wanted to join a motorcycle gang. Interestingly, in his leadership Maki, he does not want to fight to be strong, but only wants to fight to protect its members. Sometimes also to show the opponent the group he made is also strong. But one day suddenly Maki had an accident. For this, Atsunari and Masaki were sad. Because of that, they disbanded their motorcycle gang. Even the seniors are also strictly forbidden to create a motorcycle gang, because old events don't happen again. Then the scene shortens again when they have graduated from middle school. Atsunari prefers to work and get married. Meanwhile, Masaki prefers to continue to the next level. Besides that, he intends to be the strongest in his future school. Even though their paths are different, their friendship remains the same. The scene changes again when Masaki enters on his first day. At that time he immediately looked for some subordinates so they could make a gang. But suddenly there is a third grader who tries to invite a duel. As a result, a fight ensued. But this time Masaki was a little corner, because he was alone. Meanwhile, the third graders have several children. But he did not give up. Instead, he counterattacked even though he was badly injured. Luckily there was a teacher who saved him. If you don't cook, you will be beaten to death by a third grader. At night, Masaki and his friends always come home from Atsunari. Atsunari already has a wife named Aki. Therefore he must work to provide for his needs. Even so, Atsunari will still help Masaki when there is a problem. The next day, Masaki and his subordinates took revenge for yesterday. Then there was a pretty big fight, where third graders also do not want to give up. Until one day the fight was won by Masaki's group. Because of this, his group became respected in his school. Then the rehearsal scene again leads to Atsunari starting to work in a restaurant to support his family. At the same time, he also tells Masaki that he wants to realize the dream of his former boss, Maki. Masaki, who heard this, was very surprised, because now it is no longer allowed to create street gangs. But here Atsunari ignored him, because he just wants to fulfill the dream of the boss who wants to be the ruler of the streets of Fukuoka City. Hearing the explanation from Atsunari, Masaki was happy. So now they form a motorcycle gang called Aho. Next, they started by having fun on the streets at night. But here they wear a mask so as not to be recognized by other gangs. One day, there was a rumor that the old gang had returned to Fukuoka. To be precise, the gang was led by Makoto. To be exact, Makoto is rumored to have been wanted by several mafia and police, because he often throws tantrums in Fukuoka City. And unfortunately, the Makoto gang is now also targeting Masaki. After coming home from school, suddenly Masaki was brought by someone. None other than Makoto's subordinate. Then he was brought to the headquarters of Makoto. There Makoto is described as a sadistic and heartless leader. It was evident when he tried to disband Masaki's group. So here is revealed that Masaki himself is also afraid of him. You could say that the Makoto gang is currently the biggest in Fukuoka. But Masaki here is against it, so that his men do not become insults from Makoto's group. This made Makoto angry. He also almost cut off an ear from Masaki. But it turned out to be just a test, which Makoto wants to see the persistence of Masaki. And it was true that Masaki was the person he was looking for, because now he is looking for someone who can replace him in the next leadership. At the same time, it was revealed that Makoto was not the person he was rumored to be. He is very kind to his members. Even he can stand here because of his members who helped him up until now. This made Masaki happy, because his dream of conquering Fukuoka is at hand. In addition, he also negotiated with his subordinates including Atsunari. The good news is that everyone accepts to ally Makoto. Because of that, Masaki has the opportunity to replace Makoto next. As a result, now they have officially become an alliance of Makoto. And from there, Makoto often invites Masaki to subdue gangs in the surrounding area. So here it appears that Makoto trusts Masaki to be his right-hand man. A few days ago Masaki got trouble from one of the alliance. Because Masaki didn't accept it because his classmates were being bullied. Therefore he fought it. Then a fight ensued, where Masaki and his enemy went all out to win the duel. Until one day, Masaki managed to win the duel. So because of the victory, the name of Masaki has started to spread in the school as well as in the alliance. Even the second and third graders were starting to fear him. But one day the problem reappeared. To be precise, it was Masaki's subordinate who didn't accept the character of the current Masaki. Because now Masaki has forgotten the original purpose of forming a gang. Now he intends to fight to become number one. With this right, Masaki was surprised by the statement from his subordinates. Then he apologized to his subordinates. He even promised not to repeat his mistake. The scene is short again when Makoto's gang has become the biggest gang in Fukuoka. But unfortunately at this time, Makoto decided to retire. And then he will choose a new leader. And unexpectedly he asked Masaki to become the alliance leader in his stead. This made Atsunari and his subordinates happy. Because Masaki's dream has come true. Namely being the leader of the biggest motorcycle gang in Fukuoka. A few days later, suddenly another gang has defeated some of Masaki's subordinates. But here Masaki has not taken any action. Because now he doesn't want to fight anymore to be strong. So now Masaki just follows the nature of his former boss, Maki. Then there is another news. Where his representatives have been battered by the gang next door. Even so, Masaki still didn't give any action. This made Atsunari angry. Because the gang next door has injured some of its members. As a result that night Atsunari acted alone to teach the next gang a lesson. But not long after, the gang next door took action. And now they are beating Atsunari to the hospital. Masaki, who heard that, was very sad. This time he will intend to avenge him. But apparently when he went out, the gang also tried to kill Atsunari at the hospital. They even broke Atsunari's leg. However, Atsunari is still alive. But now he had to give up his broken leg. Masaki, who heard the news again, made him angry. Because what the gang next door did was outrageous. So he asked his subordinates to help him teach the next gang a lesson. But before that, the wife of Atsunari explained Masaki that Atsunari had previously moved on his own so that he could return the favor to Masaki. Therefore he could not withdraw from the gang. Given this time he will have children. This surprised Masaki because it turned out that he didn't know anything about his best friend's life. Then with gentleness Masaki and his subordinates entered the enemy's territory. Then there was a great war there. Meanwhile, the leader of the gang went upstairs to wait for Masaki. So now Masaki had to finish off the underlings of the enemy. And unexpectedly, the vice chairman of the alliance also came to help. Because of this, the situation was reversed. Where Masaki's group managed to defeat a few of the enemies. Until finally Masaki got to the top of the building at the sacrifice of his subordinates. At that time, the leader of the next gang revealed that he did not like to see the brotherhood between Masaki and Atsunari. Therefore he tried to kill Atsunari. Seeing this made Masaki angry. But now he cannot do anything, because he has been hit by a fairly severe attack. Even the enemy also attacked repeatedly. But he remembers the past when he was with Atsunari. He rose again. Then furiously Masaki beat the enemy with just one attack. And that is also a sign that the battle is over. The film ends with Atsunari picking up Masaki, who has defeated the next gang. So now Atsunari's revenge has been achieved. Even now he has become the #1 gang in Fukuoka.